Hi, my name is Jason and I'm an application engineer here at 3M. Today we're going to be doing the second video in our three-part series around our SOP involving random orbital polishing. Today's video is going to be about the compounding step. In the previous video we removed all of our defects. In this video we're going to start the compounding procedure before we move on to polish in our third and final video. Before we get started, there's a couple things I want to mention. First is make sure you're always wearing the proper protective equipment. In this video, I'll be wearing safety glasses, hearing protection, nitrile gloves, as well as a respirator. The other thing I want to mention is that this video is intended for professional use, so for you technicians actually out there in the body shops. All right, let's get started. So when compounding with a random orbital system, it's going to be a little bit different if you're used to a rotary. So the first thing we need to do is select our pad. With compound, we have a few different pads to choose from. There's a few different styles of wool pads, as well as a foam pad. In the video today, I'm going to be using a medium wool pad. If you want more information on how to select the appropriate pad, be sure to check out our videos explaining the differences between wool, foam, and how to select the right one. Like I said, in this video, we're going to be using our medium wool pad. This is a brand new pad, so with random orbital systems, we want to make sure that a brand new pad is seasoned or loaded properly. So the first time we're going to use a pad, we want to make sure that we get a nice coat and get all of the fibers covered with our compound. In order to do that, we want to make sure we shake up our compound so everything's nice and mixed together. And then we're going to start with a swirl around the entire pad, working our way down towards the center. If we were using the foam style pad like this one, all we would have to do is basically one line around the outside. We don't have to do that full swirl towards the middle. Now the reason we want to load this, if you think about a normal rotary style pad, that's going to sling all the compound towards the outside and push everything towards the edges. Due to the motion of a dual action system like a random orbital, it's actually going to push the compound towards the center, so we want to make sure we give that a good, nice full coating first. So my pad is loaded up. In a second I'm going to put my respirator on and actually start compounding, but I'll explain a few things I'm going to be doing first. When using a random orbital, we want to make sure that we keep nice, even pressure and really light pressure as we use this, and we also want to start and stop on the panel. We don't want to get the tool going and then set it down. Otherwise it could compromise that dual action motion and we might just get rotary because it's spinning so quickly. On our speed setting, we want to be set around 4,000 RPMs with compounding. If we want, we can slowly work our way up from there if we feel we need a faster cut. We also want to be mindful of temperature. With rotary, it's more significant, but with random orbital, check your panel every now and then and make sure you're not getting it too hot, as we are doing a pretty aggressive cut. If we overheat the panel, we could compromise the surface and end up having to repaint. So make sure you keep an eye on it, watch your edges, and we're ready to start applying our compound. When we're using this, another thing to watch, I'll start with east to west passes, overlapping about 50%. And then once I get to the edge of the panel, I'm going to change direction and go north to south, doing the same thing. As I need more compound, since this will already be loaded, I'll no longer have to do that full swirl. I can use the simple 4-dot method of putting a little bit of compound around the edges, and then I'm ready to go right back into working on our panel. So I just finished my last few passes of compounding. One thing to keep in mind is it's always a good idea when you finish to use inspection spray to clean off the panel. I also pre-wipe before I do that with a dedicated rag that I use only for compounding. This is good practice to do the whole step of the way. So I keep one for inspection spray after sanding, one rag that's dedicated just to compounding, and then another rag that's dedicated just to my polishing step. If I was using a system where maybe I did a third with some type of ultra fine machine polish for any kind of swirl marks, or maybe it's a restoration job where I'm putting a wax or something on, I would also have a dedicated rag that's only going to be used with those products. That just helps with cross-contamination, and most importantly from the sanding steps, we don't want to be dragging anything coarse through and scratching our freshly polished panel. So make sure you use dedicated rags. Another thing I like to do before I wipe down is fold my corners in and make sure that my tag is folded in, and then bunch it up so I don't have any seams or that tag sticking out that could also scratch the surface if it's really, really finely polished. So it's just good habit to do that every step of the way. But I put my inspection spray on, I wiped everything down, everything looks good, I don't see any sanding scratches, and now we'll be ready to move on to our final step, which is going to be our polishing phase. So that wraps up our second video in this 3-part series around our standard operating procedure using a random orbital polisher. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you have any questions, be sure to drop those in that comment section also. For more information and content like this, be sure to check us out at 3M Collision Repair Academy. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.